What's up, Tim?
What's up? What's up? Good day, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 26th. Time for another episode of Mostly Business. We do these every other week. If you are new here, we appreciate you being here. If you're old here, we appreciate you being here as well. And it's a exciting week. Lots of stuff happening. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. You probably won't like this answer, but I'm really enjoying the summer. It's been like 2 weeks of about 70 degrees, and it's just feeling really
That's nice,
good.
man. Well, it's like almost 60 here today in St. Louis. So
Hey, that's not, hey, 60 probably feels like our 70 feels,
it's
honestly.
nice.
So
I was this morning. It was like 40. It
yeah,
was like
good.
45, and like me and all my kids were at the bus with shorts on, and we were feeling good about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
45 and short.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
that's
you guys out
awesome.
there are soft, bro. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like,
No, I'm 50s. I'm 50s in shorts, but enough 40s. I cut it off. I go to the
well,
pants.
like
It's got to have a 5, and I've got to be active to be wearing the
a
shorts.
September, like a February
But-
45 to 50 is different than a September 45 to 50, though. For being honest, like your body.
Fair enough.
It's kind of crazy how quickly you toughen up. Like the first time it gets to like 30 in December or something, it's like, this is the coldest shit ever. How could anybody survive like this? And then like 2 weeks later, after you've got like a 4-degree week, you're like, oh, okay, 30 is like beautiful outside.
30's
Yeah,
awful,
you
yeah.
toughen up quick.
Yeah. Well, a lot of good things happening. Let me jump over here to my show notes so we can dive into it. I know there's
Real quick.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is way off topic, but I was just staring at my own face because I don't know, that's how
All
it
right.
works. Should I shave everything besides just this
Perfectly normal.
mustache
I'm glad-
and go
I-
80s
you're-
mustache?
I knew that you were interrupting me for a good reason, so I'm glad to see that it's. What's
I
the
was just-
question?
I was going to bring it up.
Should you
So
shave
it's
off
kinda
everything
good.
but your mustache?
Yeah, like that. Should I just go that?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, sure. Why
I wanna
not?
see it.
Just because it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like now that I have a bunch of kids and they're starting to, they play sports, that's like a staple. You know what I mean? Like a dad
Yeah.
mustache.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know if you guys would dislike it.
I started letting this little
Come
pathetic
down.
mustache of mine grow out a little bit, here and there. Sometimes I shave it off, sometimes I let it go. And I'll tell you, I've been doing that for maybe, I don't know, a year now or something. And when I shave it off, I feel like I feel a little naked almost. Like I really have grown to really like it.
I haven't shaved
Hey, is that-
down like to skin.
Mm,
Gosh, I don't know, a decade
yeah.
maybe. I would
Yeah.
look like a
I've
baby.
never seen you with it.
Yeah.
That's a good thing now, right? It's not a bad thing.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Hey, and you have wives that don't mind facial hair. For me, my wife asks almost nothing of me,
Yep.
but just to shave every other day. So I shave every other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, you look nice with a clean shave, Tim. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's not here today, but
Yeah.
my wife's in Mexico right now, so I haven't shaved in like 4
Hell yeah,
days,
dude.
so-
Hell yeah. You got that hairy face, living your best life right now while she's out of town.
It'll be shaved by
I
Saturday.
look like a mole, dude. When I look like a 14-year-old kid mixed with a mole.
Yeah.
It's not a great look.
It's you get older, anything to make you look younger, you're going to be really happy.
Yes.
with it.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Well, today, in the Substack, where I share out a lot of the stuff that we're up to and thoughts that we have and content and messages and what have you, I mentioned a couple of things. One, that we're having the show today. And so a lot of people are here because of that. And then two was asking input from everybody. So if you didn't get the Substack message earlier today, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm spending a lot more time conversing with clients and just people in our community about what's going on in their businesses and where they need help, and just sending some emails back and forth with people to give my thoughts on if I were in your shoes, here's some ideas of things that I might try. Here's my thoughts on that based on my experience, and no cost or anything, just doing it for really two reasons. One, I think it's always important to just like stay active in the community with really knowing what people are going through. Because the work that we do is very much. This is a really consulting, coaching heavy type of business that we have, sharing strategies with people for how they can grow their businesses. And so it's important to stay in touch with as many businesses as possible. And this is one of the things that we talk about with our clients all the time about, the importance of surveying your audience and just really digging in to understand where your customers are at. So that's part of it. Number one. Number two, help some people, hopefully, with some, things that they're struggling with. And then number three is I'm going to be sharing some of these conversations and kind of packaging them as content that I'm going to share out with our entire community and list and our Substack following over the next couple weeks as well. So it'll be good opportunity for really everybody to see what other people are going through. And that's always really interesting to see and to get a bird's eye view of what's happening in somebody else's business and what are some ways that they're dealing with it so that you can like apply that to your own situation. And so far I've gotten a lot of responses to it. And it's been great. Some of them though are a little off the mark. I want to share one with you. And you know what, to be totally candid, this is not to poke fun at anybody. You send messages out. I know what it's like. We all get a lot of emails. You read them fast. You have your own lens that you're viewing things through. And so you might not have gotten the gist of what I was offering to provide. And, you thought something else, and that's all fine. I had one, our good friend, James Delaney wrote in response and said, do you provide a 5.7 Gen 2 Hemi that will work in my 2005 Magnum RT?
Yes, actually, we do.
I unfortunately, that was it. It was one question. And I responded to James and I said, I do not. And in a very nice way. And James said, thank you for the reply. So
now that we're not doing that service anymore, did it come off the website that we're not doing that? I want to make sure we have, our communication.
We are no longer providing engines for, classic cars. No.
Okay. Yes. Wow. It's just news to me, but I'm
Tim,
glad
storage space pricing is through the roof. Where are we going to put all these engines, Tim? Okay. Josh and I have nice homes.
But I want to add too is you said 3 points. I'm going to add a fourth point to that is putting that out there, going out and helping your friends, colleagues, whatever. That to me in my history in this business always comes back to you in a good way, that often the good ones will want to come back and maybe help you with something down the road. So that's an important point to everything you're doing too, I think.
Yep. It's a good opportunity. Yeah. From a business development standpoint, you're bound to make some connections with people that you might not otherwise have as well. And that's always good. So yeah, great point there, buddy. So anyways, James, I appreciate you writing in on that. We don't provide engines for cars, but I have a lot of experience helping businesses over the last couple decades with all sorts of stuff. So I'm really there's some great stuff that's come through, and I'm not BSing. I've gotten a lot of emails since this went out a couple hours ago, and some of them have really given me some pretty in-depth responses on what they're doing that I'm going to have to take some time with and really give it some thought. So thanks to everyone that's written in so far, and give me some time to get back to you because there's a lot to get back to on this, but I'm excited about it.
Is this mostly older JV partners a lot of times that you worked with, that you reached out to, I assume?
No, it's everybody on our that's on our Substack.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Got it.
So I'm getting responses from people that I don't even know, and some that I've recognized their names and such too. But yeah, it's everybody. Yeah. So that's going to be pretty cool. And we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if it's something that we keep doing on an ongoing basis or not.
Talking about the survey, if we keep doing them.
Yeah, just like that open-ended offer of like, tell me something that you're dealing with in your business, and I'll give you some free consulting on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's to me, it's great. Like this is a great use for like if you were like because I actually I've been talking about this with people over the last 2 weeks, which is kind of wild that this happened. About the whole concept of like micro commitments and getting people to engage with you. But aside
Yeah.
from that, one of the cool things with doing this and what I'm
Yeah.
actually helping somebody on right now is there's gonna be open-ended questions for specific feedback like this. So that's the reason you did is you'd follow up with them
Yeah.
and kind of you give advice, help them out, build a relationship. But a really great use case for a lot of this is to then take all of those responses, put them in a document, put that in an AI tool, and then figure out like, okay, what are the common challenges? What are the common things people are talking about? And it can really inform what you're doing
Yeah.
moving forward. And that's like to me a really cool use case for AI because that's hard. Even if you're reading all of them, you're not doing them all at one time. Probably, you're going through them as you see them, and so give you a sheet of like, okay, this is the stuff that
Sure.
your most engaged people, those who replied or filled out the form, are
Yeah.
interested in. Just a
Yeah.
little tip.
Yeah. That's good. You get a lot of insights that can help in a lot of ways with your business when you do stuff like this. We've worked a lot with Ryan Levesque, who's got a whole business built around surveys, the Ask method. So we've been doing that stuff in one shape or form or another for a long time. And, like our state of small business report that we put out years ago has thousands of businesses submitted their information to be a part of it. That might be the biggest one we've ever done.
Did you know that Ryan Levesque now lives on a farm in Vermont? He still does his business, but like
I knew a little bit that he was doing something goofy, but no, I didn't know Vermont. But that's cool.
I heard it's very nice this time of year there.
Dude, his farm looks badass. And like,
I'm
I think
sure.
he had to have gotten into photography or something, or he has someone following him
Yeah.
around because holy hell,
Yeah.
the pictures he takes of that place are amazing.
Nice. That's great.
Vermont's very pretty, but unfortunately, it's only very pretty about 4 or 5 months a year. but
Right.
It is very pretty that time.
Yeah, interesting. Well, cool. Well, I was looking through our notes here, Ryan, and there was the one thing on here I wanted to jump into right away was this LinkedIn rolls out new newsletter metrics. Personally, of great interest to me because our newsletter, the Marketing Minute on LinkedIn, has over 200,000 subscribers, and so it's a big focus for me and for us. So tell us about this new stuff.
Yeah. So they have, and I could even log into my newsletter, which has it's much smaller. It's like 2,000 people to show like what it looks like. But LinkedIn has added, I'll just share my screen so people have something to look at instead of my face. They've added 2 new metrics, which I think are like way overdue. These newsletters have been around for years now. Email sends and email open rates. So if anyone that doesn't know, like when you send an email, like a LinkedIn newsletter, it just looks like a blog. You fill it out, and anybody that's subscribed to it gets an email with basically like a certain amount of characters in the email. Like most of the article is shared, or a lot of the article is shared, and if they want to read the rest, they click through and it goes to the article. It sends everyone unless they've opted out an email. But now, before that, you couldn't track like sends and email open rates to really see where your views are coming from or your engagement's coming from. And now you can. So you can see how many people were sent the email, how many people opened that email directly in kind of your newsletter analytics area, which is, they have links all over the place when you're doing newsletters, which I think is great. But it's one thing I'm not sure on, and it's something that I've been meaning to look into once I noticed, because I noticed this like last week or so before I looked up an article, so I had something to look at, is it if everybody gets sent every newsletter. In theory, they should, but I wonder because if it fluctuates, I want to see what
I think it does fluctuate. I really feel like it does, because there's some times where I'm like, I haven't gotten my own newsletter in a while.
Yeah, I think it does. I personally think it does as well. And I wonder what that's based on, because like I have like 2,000 people. I just started this thing in like November, October. And I think my last one, it said like 1,300 people got an email. And I can't imagine that, because I only send them once a week, that 700 people have already opted out. because
Right. No way.
because like they just would have unsubscribed, I would imagine, instead of like it's a unsubscribe to the newsletter instead of like going into the email, scrolling to the bottom. Big corporate companies like that make it a little difficult to opt out. Sometimes it's like tiny links. I would be shocked if that many people unsubscribed.
Yeah.
Because maybe they did. I don't know, but I feel like based on the. I wonder if it analyzes the topic because I know it doesn't send out immediately when you publish a newsletter, it gives everyone a push notification that when on LinkedIn or like a notification on LinkedIn. But sometimes it takes an hour or two for the email goes out. So I imagine they have some sort of like process where they analyze the content and send it to either the people that they think would like it the most or something.
Who knows? But I will say though, based on the numbers, it tracks with what I would think is what you would expect if they are sending it to everybody. Because, for example, of my 200,000 subscribers, I'm looking at the post right now. The last one that went out was a week ago, and I'm looking at the stats, 40,000 article views. So you're talking about a 20% open rate. That sounds right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of on track with if they send it to everybody, what you would expect. So I don't know. But yeah, sometimes I've felt the same way though, Ryan. So we'll see. But what's interesting is, now that I go over to the analytics and tools, I am seeing some interesting new kind of stats that maybe didn't appear before. Newsletter article views is in there. I don't know exactly what that is, but I'm not seeing the numbers that they're saying here. I don't see anything called email sends. I don't see anything called email open rate. So anyways, maybe it just hasn't come my way yet.
Here's an example of a kind of where it looks like the article performance. It's like 24% email open rate, 1,000 email sends, which would be low because it was like 1,300 last time. Maybe I'm doing a bad job. I don't know. I don't think I am. I think it's good. So that's why I don't know if it sends to everyone. I'm going to try. It would be interesting to see because my newsletter doesn't grow incredibly fast. So it shouldn't move the needle if I send one next week to if all of a sudden it has 1,300 again, if I do a different topic or maybe make the content shorter or something, if that'll work. But we'll see. This usually ends up around like 500 people.
I think that I think it just hasn't rolled out to my account yet.
Yeah.
Because I don't see that, but I do see under my newsletter analytics, which is another area you can go to, that in the last month my views are up and my impressions are up, so things are moving in the right direction for the Marketing Minute, which is
yeah. I like that feature. The more tracking tools I can give you, the better because I think an email newsletter, like an actual newsletter, is probably more valuable than a LinkedIn one, or something on even like Substack is like that's the primary thing that it does. But you can undoubtedly grow. I mean, I don't really promote the newsletter all that much. I don't really right now. I'm not currently like adding a bunch of new people to LinkedIn. Yeah. And I'm still getting 25 to 40 new subscribers a week. One of the things that I wonder if bit me in the butt is when we were posting in the social media marketing group. When I launched the newsletter, I did it in there, and I got a ton of people from like all over the world. Like places that I'm not going to probably work with someone. Like I'm not. No offense to like people from Turkey, but I'm not most likely gonna. It's not really someone I'm probably gonna have calls with and work with. I work with people.
What's your newsletter called again?
Growth Strategy Stacking.
Growth Strategies Stacking.
Well, a singular strategy. Growth Strategy Stacking.
Growth Strategy.
Think of it like stacking growth strategies.
Yes. Now, and I'm subscribed, and I don't recall ever getting an email. So, who knows?
I get ones every week. Oddly enough.
Cool. Well, I'll have to check my settings. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the dumb. you know. But well, I would recommend everybody sign up for Ryan's newsletter here, because I think you're putting together a lot of really nice content, Ryan.
Yeah, it might almost be too long but like I wanted it to be these. I mean, the whole premise of it is like there's all these different strategies that you stack together, almost like a tech stack. But yeah, it's fun. If you want to subscribe to it, do it. If not, me, the main reason I like doing it is because it makes me think about things, you know. And now I have like lead magnets that I'm putting together that are all based around these newsletter articles. And
yeah, I like your article on the customer journey mapping is nice.
Yeah, that I've always found that I've tried to like create them at Both Link Selling and Connect 365, and I've always felt like, well, this is useless. Nobody, like, not useless. It's like good for like an overall like view, but it's really structured for people who have like one path. You know, it's like, okay, you're not doing a bunch of like funnels and lead magnets and webinars and different elements. If it's like, no, they go to your website and buy, that's the only way, then sure. But like viewing it in the traditional way of a customer journey map, it's not all that useful other than understanding kind of what you want, who your prospects are and what you want them to be thinking about. Yeah. Figure out like, okay, you have a team. What do they need to do? And what do they need to focus on? How do you make things work? Breaking it up makes more sense. There's an article on there. I think it's cool. If you guys want to check it out, we don't need to go into it now, but that's how I've approached it basically forever. I just finally came up with names for it.
Yeah, I like it, man. I think I'm going to send that out to the Substack. I'll put a
Thanks, dude.
Little call out for you. Get some new subscribers over there.
I'll add a link back to the Substack, and that one will create this massive loop.
Well, how will people know when to stop going back and forth?
They won't.
Oh, shit.
They won't, and we'll be rich.
So Ryan, would you say these overall analytics will help you in what you're trying to do, and if so, in what way would you say they're helping you? If they
well, it allows you a couple things. It allow you to like test headlines. Like, you know, you can't test like A/B tests like on the same post, but maybe my headlines are too long or too complicated, and I can get up that number. Overall, it's just nice to see it before you. There's like you didn't get almost anything, so you know it's a.
Got you. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
So, and I haven't really figured out exactly how I'd use it, but if I go through, let's just say I'm consistently getting 20 to like, let's say 20 to 28%. And then I do one that gets me 40% or something wild, like it's an outlier. I can figure out like, well, why? You know what I mean? Is it like, is the content more interesting? And so that's what I'll do is just monitor kind of where it's at after you send it. I'll like wait a week or so. See who clicks it. And kind of
sure.
Yeah, it goes.
Cool. Good stuff, buddy. Tim, did we talk about this last week with the hiring your kids for tax breaks thing?
I just discovered this article earlier. Actually, last night I discovered it. I thought it was fascinating, and I thought of you guys. So I personally, unless one of you guys found this article, but I thought it was pretty.
It sounded familiar. I wasn't sure if we talked about it on the show before, but go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, what you can do to hire your kids, like you have to be self-employed according to this article to do this, but you can have tax benefits by hiring your own kids. For example, you can actually deduct their wages as a business expense, probably the same thing you do for Ryan and I, and then put the money into an investment thing for your kids. So I'm thinking Eddie's 7 years away from this, something like that. But there's different tax laws you've got to follow with this. But the cool thing is, I mean, if you have, and I had a guy in your own company, Connect 365, who actually did something similar to this. This is before I ever read this article. But for both of you with 7 kids, this could be something in your business 10 years from now where you're investing in your kids' future, but it's also a tax benefit for you as a small business because it is part of your payroll, and yet you're investing in your kids' future. So it's kind of a win-win-win for everybody. And it's probably less as a business owner that you can be taxed on at the end of the year as well. So any thoughts on you guys?
So there's some moving parts to this, but the essence of it is you have your kid on the payroll in the business. I assume the article says like they actually have to be doing something for the business, right? Can't
Yep.
be a scam. No scams.
Of
Yep.
course.
And then, so you put them on the payroll, you have them do some trivial thing in the business or whatever. And then, so maybe over the course of the year, they earn $5,000, and it's such a small.
And there's almost no taxes on that
There's
too,
almost
which is
no
great.
taxes on that because they're making such little money.
Yep.
And so then all of that then could be put into their retirement account. Maybe it could be put into one of those, I forget
College
the
accounts.
education one though. 504B.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
This article specifically mentions
reproduce,
putting
so
it into a Roth.
Yeah, Roth. Yeah, but like I wonder though if you could have that go into the one of those education savings accounts that is for their college, but and maybe not. I don't know. But either way though, you're putting it into some sort of a piggy bank for them, and then you're getting the expense in the business, lowering your taxes, and setting them up with a little nest egg if you're doing that.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think of you two when I read this article. Not what's on my shirt, but I mean the two of you, and that this is something you guys could do in say what 7-8 years, something
here's
like
the
that.
question,
Between the two
though.
of you,
I don't know many people who are putting who are even like it's not even on their radar to like put money into their child's IRA or something like that. Like most people are putting money into their own IRAs and whatnot, right? And like, so I don't know many people who are like trying to build their kids' retirement fund like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it would be the way you would pay them because using your son Eddie's example, let's say he's 14 years old, he's learning. You probably don't, you probably don't want him to have the 5,000 that he earned right now because he might piss it all away.
Right.
This way, he's got it, down the road. And if it's a Roth IRA, when you take out money, it's already, been pre-tax, so there's no taxes on that. In this case.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I think
for you parents out there.
What's that?
I thought it was interesting for you parents out there,
Well,
parents
thing.
with a small, which is both of you.
I guarantee you, if my parents would have done this for me, by the time I was like 24 or 23, I would have been like, I got to find a way to get all that money out of there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
you'd have nice cars.
Absolutely.
And that money would have been gone within a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm just gonna do is just put one of my kids in like a video and then post it on social media and be like, I paid them $200,000 for that, and then put it into a scenario where I can get it back.
So you can show your off and not have to pay taxes.
I'm not actually suggesting people commit tax fraud, by the way.
Especially, there's very few IRS employees anymore.
Yeah.
So you're perfect.
Well, I will tell you, having your kids committed to something like this, working and having it go into a savings account type thing, even though that's a long-term savings, you really don't want to take it out unless you have to, but that's certainly better than them just blowing it. If they're really going to work, then, that's way better than them just like blowing all the money on, video games or something.
It would be a hard sell though. Like if you have a 14-year-old kid and let's just say you went to a restaurant because it's easy to like understand they're gonna like work there, and you're like, you're not gonna actually get paid. I'm gonna take all of this money. I'm gonna use a tax deduction and then I'm gonna put it in an IRA or like some sort of savings thing for you. They'd be like, you're the worst.
Maybe they get some of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, give them something, X amount per week. But the rest of it goes into that Roth IRA. And it's still a win-win, and he or she gets a little bit of money as well. I'm thinking when you're 14, hypothetically, right now, I mean, what is a good salary? I mean, if you earn $10 an hour, you're probably thrilled at 14, I would think, or even less.
What's minimum wage everywhere? I can't imagine it's much lower. Because when I was like a teenager, minimum wage was $7.25, I think, in Missouri.
Dude, it's not much more now. It hasn't been raised in something like close to 20 years. I think it's like $7.75.
It's 15 in Illinois.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, it's going up a lot. If it's not 15 today, it's like they have the plan to get there that's already like codified in the law that it's coming any day now or something. But maybe it's going to be 20 eventually. I can't remember what they did, but the
It's
joys of living in Illinois.
$13.75 in Missouri. But I'll just put a tip jar out and then pay them $3 and then be like, okay, well, tips are your income.
What is Illinois' minimum wage? As of January 1, 2025, it is $18 per hour for workers 18 and older.
Dang.
The minimum wage for workers under 18 who work fewer than 650 hours in a year is 13.
What was the first number again,
15.
Josh? 15. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. You got to imagine there's not a lot of businesses that are looking to move to Illinois with a number like that. But who knows?
Or just not looking to hire that many young people that don't have a whole lot of skills already.
Yeah.
Because hiring a 14-year-old and paying them $18 an hour. I know they don't have to, but that'd be tough.
It's tough for like businesses that are operating on a minimum wage model, like Taco Bell or something. Like I drove through Taco Bell a few months ago to get a breakfast crunch wrap. Delicious. The steak crunch wrap, not the bacon, not the sausage, the steak. And there was one person working in there, and this girl was like running the show. She was on point. She was on the headset, taking orders, going and making the food, coming back. It was,
Jeez.
Yeah, solid.
Near my house, I have what I consider an elite level Taco Bell. I don't eat a ton of fast food, but I do. Yeah. If it is, it's usually Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And it's these people are on it, and I love them for it. Now, the McDonald's right next to him is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm not kidding you. It's taken 40 minutes, on a pickup order on my phone to go take lunch, a Happy Meal to my daughter's school for one of those days you go eat. 40 minutes. We almost missed the whole damn thing.
Really?
A home lunch, and she cried. So good luck. Good job, McDonald's.
Oh my God.
I hate this McDonald's. It's the only place I've ever made a Google review on. And I was like, what is this place? This place is bullshit. If you look up the Telegraph, McDonald's in Missouri.
People if you look up your average Subway on Yelp, it's 1.5 stars, and the only reviews are people who had the worst experience there. I mean,
absolutely.
It's too bad for them, It's too
I don't
bad.
even really look at reviews anymore because of how skewed they are, especially when half of them will be like, I bought this Cajun pasta, even at a nicer restaurant.
Yeah.
Cajun pasta, and it was spicier than I like. 1 star. What the fuck? What?
I have just noticed that there's certain fast food or sandwich places, Subway one in particular, where this is a trend. I see this all the time that they, for some reason, the people that own those shops don't care about reputation management or having positive reviews. It wouldn't be that hard to hey, we need a bunch more good reviews. Let's get, because these four reviews we have on Yelp are all bad. If we can just get 10 people to leave us some good reviews, we can drown that out. They don't even care, which is what's going on here, guys? And I'm telling you, Subway, pay attention to it. They don't care about that stuff.
No. Plus, when's the last time you guys ate Subway?
I probably have Subway once or twice a year. Usually on a road trip, I'll stop and get a 6-inch.
Yeah, I'm going with once a quarter. I'm going with, so probably about Josh, and I do enjoy it. By the way, I will.
Here's
I
my
like
thing.
it too. I'm not going to say it's the highest quality, but I like it.
No, but in a pinch, what's the highest quality is their chocolate chip cookies for dessert. I highly recommend.
There you go.
Those.
Here's my issue with
Very
Subway. In most scenarios, unless you're in a really rural area, if you're in a city, within a mile or two, there's another sandwich shop that I feel clears it. It's so much better than Subway.
Yeah. What on a road trip? What do you prefer?
If I'm I'm on a road trip, I don't know, depends on what's in the city. But if you're around my house right now, there's a Subway, but then there's also a Firehouse Subs. There's a local sandwich place. There's a Penn Station sandwich place. I'd rather spend the extra $4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And really get after it and go into Subway. Which again, I don't hate Subway either. Like if I have to eat it, I'm not gonna cry.
I
about
can't
it.
blame you for that. You know, when I go into a Subway, I try not to look too close at the meat sitting in that case. You know,
Yeah, it's just thin, and I hate sandwiches that are like more bread than they are like there's like thick ass bread and like a little thin layer of meat.
You got to add the veggies, and you got to add all that.
It's also why I don't
stuff,
like Panera, even though that's a much higher quality. I feel like than Subway is like, man, I don't like bread enough for this.
I find Panera to be not very good anymore. I just don't even consider it as an option, to be honest. What I do like is Jersey Mike's, and they're they cut every sandwich. They're slicing the meat off of the whatever. It's not like pre-sliced, and I think that makes a difference.
What do you get from there? I went to Jersey Mike's recently and was like, I don't know about this place. I must have got a whack sandwich.
I don't know, like a club or an Italian or something, and they put the oil and vinegar and stuff on it, and it's like pretty fresh. I think the bread is pretty good, and I think it's good.
Tim, do they have Penn Station out in California? Okay.
Nope, we do
so
not.
Josh, you've been to Penn Station, right?
Yeah, I don't put Penn Station and Jersey Mike's to me are two different things. Penn Station for me is like I'm gonna go get a hot sandwich, like the Philly or something, and Penn and Jersey Mike's or one of those types is more for like the cold sub.
I worked at a Penn Station for years in college, and I'll tell you that is the cleanest damn restaurant. They like are on it. That's the cleanest restaurant I ever worked in by a like. I mean, I don't know if it's just our GM was good, but like that shit was clean. Like the amount of cleaning they make employees do before and after they open and close is wild. Yeah. So if you want to go somewhere confidently, that place I've never seen look dirty. I've seen the lobby look dirty, but the kitchen clean as a whistle.
Well, let's do one more businessy thing today, and then let's talk about the fun stuff. Ryan, I know you had a couple things on here. What do you think is the fire that you want to bring here for the last segment?
I don't know, man. The Fire Festival thing I think is fun because that's wild.
No, dude, it's some business thing. That's just a joke.
Yeah, that is. I mean, okay. So I guess the since it's not as general, there's like the global e-commerce market, a global B2B e-commerce market to be worth over. Let me just share my screen on this. So there's an article, there's a report that came out from Astute Analytica that let me share my screen again. Apologies, everyone. Astute Analytica came out with this report. I don't know if this is a press release, but they're definitely selling the report, but they have some stuff in there. So it's like they came out with this report that in 2024, the global B2B e-commerce, so like anything. It's a little unclear exactly what that means, but it's B2B software market, specifically e-commerce, is like 12.5 billion in 2024. It's expected to reach 43 billion.
I have a question on this. I find this confusing. Are they saying 12,455?
Oh, so it's trillion. Billion? Yeah, so that's why would they say it like that?
Is it 12? Yeah, is it 12 trillion?
So it'd be 1.2 trillion, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it would be 1.2 trillion.
1,000 billion is a trillion.
Yeah, never mind. You're right. It'd be 12 trillion.
So it'd be 12 trillion. Doesn't that seem like too much?
Now that I look at that,
it's confusing, but nonetheless, the numbers are confusing, but there's obviously a lot of growth here. When you're talking about it's expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 14.9% over the next 8 years. That's big. That's a lot of growth.
Yeah, it's absolutely enormous. The article's like just jammed with stats too, probably for search reasons. But what I found interesting with it is when you go to this key findings, right? So it's like Asia is the largest region, which I don't really find all that surprising, but the product type, IT products, but the top drivers, and I should have seen this coming, but integration of AI for personalized experiences and operational efficiency. But there's a couple of things with this too, like adoption of cloud-based platforms for scalability and flexibility, and increasing demand for self-service options in B2B transactions. What I see from all of this, there's a lot there. Those words can mean multiple things, but what I see with a lot of this is like they're expecting a massive uptick in like really narrow like use case softwares, because one of the issues or the top challenges down here is complexity of these like tools and like these
Yeah.
like, this is B2B purchase processes, which again is not all, like I haven't read the whole report, but to me it's
Mhm.
like the way I view this is there's gonna be an a rise of industry specific marketplaces catering to the niche B2B sectors. So there's gonna be a shitload of like small softwares coming out that serve really specific function that relate to AI for those who do not have the ability to go in and figure it out on their own. Because the
Hmm.
more I'm looking into AI, the more I realize like most of the softwares that you see are just plugged into an AI tool that you can get for free or cheap.
Sure.
And then, but they just have it like, they have it filtered and set up properly to make it easy for a specific use case.
Mm.
Everything else can be done using other
Nice.
tools.
Yeah.
You can essentially build your own software, like software yourself using pretty cheap tools.
Right. You just get like a pro license and tap into their API or something.
Tap into their API and then tap into other tools. Like there's a website, there's like a Zapier alternative called Make.
Okay.
That, you can do crazy shit with, like using these like API companies, and you have to pay per time that it runs. But
sweet. You know what I thought was interesting about some of these stats? If you scroll back up for a second, it says the top payment method is checks. Down a little.
oh,
Really?
And they spelled it with a Q, which is funny too. But payment mode, 32% by check. I'm like, really? That like, what are we talking about here?
I think I write like one check every other year, and it's like some plumber that wants one or something like that.
So that's the British spelling of check. So they are talking about writing checks. And I guess if you're talking about businesses, then yeah, maybe that's the case because their accounts payable department sends out checks and stuff. But
yeah, that's what I was
more
thinking.
and more that one just stood out to me as strange. But anyways,
But,
let's
like,
not get in the
it's
weeds
still-
on.
Yeah.
Let's not. Yeah, there's some valid points that are made here for sure.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I found it interesting. The growth rate is really what caught me, even though I messed up like the billion and trillions thing. But the growth rate caught me. I'm not all that surprised that it's going to grow. That's substantial though, mainly because the number is so high. Like now that we know that it's trillions, like that's a shitload of money being spent, and who's all spending it? And it says the primary enterprise size is like small to medium sized businesses, which is like. Which is crazy to me. Like, small to medium price enterprises, but still, like, I would think that the majority of the cost would be from like companies that make tons of money. But in terms of the buyers, I know there's a lot more small and medium sized businesses, but it's a substantial increase in this. And I wonder, like, part of me wonders, and like about this is if this is a good news or bad. Like it's going to be, it seems like equally good news and bad news for a lot of like, software companies or tech companies, because it's a lot of money, but they're like the way I'm reading it, it feels like there's going to be a lot of competition, like a lot more competition than before, and a lot more niche versions of it. And I'm interested to see kind of where it goes, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's more and more stuff's going online. People got to be ready for it. It's a brave new world.
It's a brave new world. But it also, there are still businesses out there that are like kind of dragging their feet on becoming more like online, which is wild to me that those businesses are successful. I know they've probably been around a long time, but I'm sure there's a lot of money being spent in just catching up.
Well, you also have to think about like in our space, sometimes I think like we're in a place of market, the market's mature. People have been around the block a long time. And that is true for a lot of our customers who have been in business for quite some time. But every year in the United States alone, there's millions of new businesses started. So you have all those people are new to the game and need help with a lot of things that they may or may not have any experience with. So like when it comes to like in a few weeks I've got some stuff I'm putting together on. I'm building a new funnel for a free ebook that I'm putting out, and I'm going to be sharing content about just showing kind of behind the scenes of how I built this funnel, how I built the landing pages, the showing the email setup and the whole thing. And sometimes I'm thinking like, is this really valuable to anybody? And yeah, there's a ton of people that are kind of like, that would really be of great value to them if they could just copy and paste something like that,
Yeah, and that makes sense. And also, like it looks like, and a lot of these tools that they're talking about too, like, are more than just even your traditional B2B business. It's like
Yeah.
it says Amazon and Alibaba. Well, they serve businesses, but those businesses serve consumers. Like, so that, like,
Sure.
selling shit. If there's a bunch of people that sell lamps, or like
Right.
clothes or whatever,
Yep.
they're still technically a B2B purchase. So it actually makes more sense in that.
Yeah. Well, very good, Ryan. Good find there. I appreciate you bringing that to the table. We got a couple other things for today. One, I apologize. I got a couple messages on our last show that there were a couple people who were disappointed that we ran out of time for our little segment we always do where we talk about wine, because I'm into wine. I think it's fun collecting wine and fun to drink wine. And so I like to share my findings in the world of wine and what I'm up to and what I'm interested in, and always encourage Ryan and Tim to do the same. So I'm going to throw in two things in there real quick. Number one, I got a value purchase that I threw on the agenda for today. Ryan, if you want to throw up that link, feel free. A good friend of mine who I used to be a neighbor of mine is in the wine business. He's a distributor. He gave me a bottle of this once. It was sitting downstairs for like 2 or 3 years. I finally opened it a couple weeks ago. I was like, this is delicious. And to Bordeaux. And because I have been thinking, I haven't been buying much Bordeaux, and my cellar is pretty light on Bordeaux, but I like drinking it. I need to restock. I was like, oh, this will be a good one to get, because I found this place in New Jersey who has it for a huge discount right now. And I don't know how, but like, you can't find it for less than like $60 anywhere else online. So for $35 a bottle, it's pretty good. I bought a case, and another buddy of mine who is trying to build up his wine collection as well, he went in on a case as well. So if anyone's looking for a good value on Bordeaux, this is a good one. And this is one that you don't have to wait forever to drink. There's a lot of Bordeaux's, usually on the higher end, but sometimes even on the lower end of price. You have to sit them there for 10 years before they're really ready to drink or approachable. This is one you can drink now or save for the long haul, and that's why I got it, and the price is right. So I want to throw this out there.
And
Go ahead.
Merlot Cab combo. That sounds absolutely delicious.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but Pomerol is a region in Bordeaux that produces some amazing wines. I think they're known for being a little bit more lush than some other areas of Bordeaux, which can be a bit austere. If I'm wrong on that, sue me. I think that's the case, though. I don't know. But a lot of people love the wines that are coming out of this region. This is probably on the lower end of the price point for wines from Pomerol. But I thought it was pretty good. So.
Have you been to like the wine country in France?
No.
Yeah.
I'd love to, though. It'd be nice.
My wife and I are like on the fence of going to, like, we're going to go on a trip this year. We're doing it next year now instead, because some stuff came up with family trips that we should do them while we can. But we're either going to go to like France, like the French Riviera, like Nice area, or Mexico, and just like
nice.
It's in Mexico, amazing beaches.
Wait, what did you say? Or Mexico?
Yeah, or Mexico, or like around like Cancun or Tulum or like that.
Gotcha.
Area.
So gotcha. You're not going to Mexico for wine. You're just going to Mexico.
No,
right?
I don't. Do they make wine in Mexico?
Oh, okay. I don't think so. That's why I was like, huh?
Mexican wine?
Because you had mentioned about the wine region in France or Mexico.
Oh no, it's
so not
specifically a wine trip. It's just like every couple of years we've decided to do just like essentially a honeymoon. Our kids aren't invited. It's just us. We're gonna go somewhere cool that we want to go, and
that's well.
And
done.
so we call them honeymoon. So like our next honeymoon is going to be either in France or Mexico, and I'm not sure where. Probably Mexico, to be honest, because it's closer and like we don't go. I grew up going to beaches every summer for every vacation ever. So like we haven't been a whole lot to beaches together.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been together 10 years, but I just want to see if you'd been.
Hitting the Missouri beaches.
Oh no, like no, I'm talking about on trips. We go like we've gone to a bunch of places. We'll go to like Europe. There's beaches there, but it's like a beach trip to me is like Mexico or Florida or somewhere where you're on the beach all week. Not like that that there is a beach in the area and you go to it a day. So France would not be that, even though like you can get to beaches from there. But and like the French Riviera has beaches, but it's not a beach. I don't consider it a beach trip.
Vic and I were talking about going to the French Riviera, same type of thing. I don't know how much of like wine country we would do, but here's the thing though. It takes forever to get there. Like from St. Louis, it's not nonstop, of course, but like in total, it's like 14 hours. So it's like,
it's even worse from here, obviously.
Yeah, it's almost like, do we want to do that? I don't know if we want to do that. Let's like find something that's like 8 hours.
I could do it, but it does make it tougher with kids because then you're like wasting days on travel. And you got to ask people to babysit, and it's a big. And you feel like terrible being like, "Hey, can you watch 4 kids for 2 weeks?"
Getting off the plane, like that's just such a long time on the plane that like I almost feel like I'm sick when I'm done with that,
Yeah,
I don't like it.
And the time frame as far as getting adjusted is just brutal because and
there's tricks and hacks for that, but it's like the whole thing is just like that's a little far for us, but who knows? I have one other one that I wanted to share with you guys today before we run out of time.
For you, Josh, in St. Louis, 8 hours that'll get you right into Hawaii.
Yeah, so that's an option for sure. So the other one that I wanted to share with you guys today is another website for getting good deals. We've talked about Day Negos before and other stuff. Another one for anyone who's interested in champagne and other types of good quality sparkling wines is called lastbubbles.com. Lastbubbles.com. It's kind of like a deal of the day site for champagne, and usually they're like 50% off, and good quality stuff. You're not going to see anything that's very cheap here. Maybe every once in a while you'll see something that might be like $20, but most of the stuff I'm seeing is like 30, 40, 50, 60, stuff like this. And what I would do, and I've made one purchase from them recently, so we'll see how it goes, but usually it's free shipping with like 3 or 4 bottles. This one here is you get free shipping on 3 bottles. And I like to go to Wine Searcher and look up the wine there and make sure that like, is this actually a good value? Make sure that you're actually getting a good deal, because sometimes you're like, oh, well, there's other people selling it for the same price. This isn't that good of a deal,
I didn't know you were a champagne guy.
I actually more and more really enjoy it. Yeah.
Is it just one at a time?
My wife.
What?
My wife likes it on a football Sunday for some reason.
Yeah. What'd you say, Ryan?
Is it one offer at a time on this website?
Mm-hmm. I think when you buy it, they like present you with some other things they also have for sale. But yeah, I don't know if there's like a store. Yeah. So if you can sign up for their email list, they'll send you emails when they have stuff. But I like champagne a lot. It goes with a lot of different foods. And also usually it's a little bit lower alcohol. So it's not as rowdy. And it's usually a crowd pleaser. Usually, like even Vicky, who doesn't like wine, she likes champagne a little bit. So
is there
really? I didn't realize she doesn't really like wine at all. I didn't know that.
She's not a big fan. She likes dessert wines, but she's not a big fan.
Well, it's more for you though, right? It kind of works.
Cuts the budget down.
Is there a huge difference? I know the actual difference, but I've had nice champagne and nice like sparkling wine. Is there a huge difference in quality or like taste, like it actually what it tastes like?
Well, here's the deal. Like there are so there are people in all sorts of wine regions around the world who make sparkling wines in the same method that they're making them in champagne. Even like Oregon, more and more places in Oregon are making sparkling wines, and they're making them with Chardonnay and, you know, sometimes some other grapes too, but same method that they're doing it in Champagne. But it usually doesn't get to the same quality level. And what I find is, like, when you look at like reviews or like what people are saying about those, is they're usually like comparing it to Champagne to see like, is it as good or not? With some people being like, you know, could have fooled me that it wasn't from whatever region in Champagne they think is cool.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But like, there's a lot of great sparkling wine that isn't Champagne. Absolutely. You know, yeah, they got something special going on there. You know, it's just like, you know, like Burgundy, like Pinot Noir from the Burgundy region of France has like a really unique thing to it. And there's so many different like components to that, because there's a lot of nuance there's totally different types of red Burgundies coming out of that region. So it's not one size fits all, but you can tell when you drink a Pinot Noir that's from France, that's from Burgundy, you can tell this is not a California Pinot Noir. You know, it's kind of the same with this stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
They make a lot of Pinots, I think, in the Pacific Northwest, don't they, Josh?
A lot of Pinot?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big Pinot place. So Pete,
You got big Pinots out there, boys.
in Oregon,
Oregon
and Washington.
Yeah.
I think makes a lot.
Oregon specifically is making a lot of Pinot right now. There's tons of wineries in Oregon making great Pinot, and I have a shitload of it at my house. I love it. I love Oregon Pinot Noir.
I do too. I've gotten more into it over the years. You know, I found out through my new job is that 86% of the wine in America is produced in California. I knew it was high. I didn't realize it was
Wow.
high.
That's crazy. Yeah, that makes sense though.
14% is for the rest of the other 49 states.
Well,
Real quick before we move on, I told you guys this beforehand, but Josh, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I bought a case of wine from the Dana Gose ciders, Dana Gose, Dose, and I got it in. So I got my case in, like, I think it was Thursday or Friday last week. So I have 12 of these bad boys, and I'm pumped about it. So thanks again, Josh.
Yeah. Well, let us know.
Oh wow, you just ordered it like right away.
I ordered it right away, but mine was like there was like a delay. I bought their like futures deal. I don't know. So there was like a couple month delay, and apparently I can drink it now, but I don't know if I should. How long? Okay, if you had this, how long would you? You don't know. We don't know much about the wine, but how long are you waiting to drink these? So 2022. Yeah.
What year is it?
Yeah, you.
What year is it?
2022. Cabernet from like Mount Veeder.
What's the lot number on that?
527.
527.
Anyone that's interested there.
So on Cellar Tracker right now, no one has reviewed that wine, so it's difficult to say. But I would also go back to the original email from them on lot 527, which I am looking up here. And you know, you kind of want to just read it and see what it says. Oh, shoot. Now it says page not found now. So here it is. So just like reading this really quickly. I need a couple minutes to go through what they said about this wine to see if it feels like it's something that can be drank now or needs to hold. But at that price point, like usually I would like drink one within the next year. And like you can drink one now if you want, and just like, you know, if you like it now, great.
It mentioned on there like you might want to wait a few months. I remember saying that, but I was like, that seems like such a trivial amount of time.
Like, you should open it right now. You know, it's in the afternoon in Missouri. I think it's
so. Sometimes if a wine was just recently bottled, you do want to wait a few months. You want to give it a little time in that bottle to like calm down, because going from barrel to bottle, you don't want to like open it right away. Give it a few months to be in that bottle. So there is some science to that for sure.
Yeah, we'll most definitely drink one like now, and then probably save some of them just to see, because like I don't know, you do this whole like talking about wine. Well, I've never like I want to build up some wine. I want to stockpile some wine. We can still drink whatever from the grocery store on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's fun to break out weird shit when people come over.
It's fun to do, and you can find things that are really good values that will last a long time too. Like there's a Bordeaux Chateau Lanessan, Lanessan, that you can get for like $18 a bottle, sometimes maybe less, maybe $20 a bottle. But like it's kind of known for that, like you really want to wait like at least 10 years to start drinking this wine, and it'll last a long, long time. So there's a lot of stuff out there. You can build a cellar without breaking the bank.
I want to store something forever,
it.
and like I'm gonna do this when I'm 60. You know,
Yeah.
like for a long time, because like that'd be 24 years
Yeah.
from now,
Mhm.
and or it could be just gross and I wasted all the time. I don't know.
24 years from now.
Yeah.
Shit. I got 1 year to that number.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Well, there wasn't an attack. There wasn't an attack on you, Tim. Well,
if
you
you have
know.
a 20,
Oh, no, I don't think it was an attack. Hey, I'm a young 59.
Yeah,
and
you
I
have a
know-
younger life than me, bro.
if you're going to have wine that will be in your cellar for 20 or more years, you need to look at, you can't just buy anything and put it down there. You can't just like get some California Pinot and, save it for 20 years. Like there's a lot of wine out there that really will last maybe like 10 years.
Yeah.
And like then, so you kind of got to do some research to find out what's going to last a long, long time. But honestly, for when I'm like, there's not a lot of stuff I buy that I'm like, I'm not going to touch this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't think I'll be able to keep my hands off it for that long.
What's the oldest thing you've drank? Like, what's the oldest wine you've drank?
Well, I have a couple things downstairs that I haven't drank yet that are, one of them's from 1929. It was put in barrel, and it's been in barrel since 1929. And then like 8 years ago, they bottled it. It's a red dessert wine called Pedro Jimenez from Spain. And I have a Madeira, also Portugal, I think is Madeira Portugal or Spain. Anyways, one of those two. And it's from 1940. Yeah.
Jesus.
So it's a white wine.
Those expensive?
I'm thinking
Not
in 4
asking how
years
much.
you got to drink that 1929 on its 100th anniversary,
Yeah,
right?
I bought those from a reseller who like goes and buys people's wine cellars when they die and sell them to people. Benchmark Wine is who I bought those from. Those bottles were like, I don't know, $250.
Oh, that's not as bad as I expected. That's cool.
Yeah.
When you drink them, you got to bust them open. You got to like get all the top headlines from that year. You just make it. This is a 1929 year party. We're gonna be talking about what was going on while drinking this wine.
I don't know when I'm gonna open those. Honestly, the reviews, the tasting notes people are putting on Cellar Tracker for them right now are like, this wine's gonna last fucking forever. So there's no rush really. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool. I have a port down there that's from like 1970.
Well, have you drank any wines that old, like from like a restaurant or from anywhere, like to see like how different they taste? Like that's what I'm curious about too. Is like, have you had like a 1960s wine like glass?
Not really. No, I mean, you don't get opportunities to drink stuff like that hardly ever. So no, I haven't.
Didn't you just drink? Didn't you just drink like something to do with Vic, like 1980 something? Didn't you just drink one, or is that my imagination?
Maybe, but I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
No, I don't remember. Maybe it was just that good that now I don't remember. Who knows? Well, guys, we're over on time. Tim, you're gonna have to save the music of the day, song of the day for next time.
And while we're on the show here, I wanted to wish you a day early a happy birthday.
Oh man,
buddy.
thank you. You've been saving that this whole time. What a sweet guy.
I remember Noah's birthday, so I'm glad you
said
it.
Yeah.
I just looked at the date. I know when your birthday is, and I just looked at it. It was 2/26, and it literally just hit me. So no,
well,
I have not been.
I appreciate that.
So yeah, I hope it's awesome. Drink too much wine. You have nothing to do with your kids tomorrow. If you don't want to, you can do anything you want.
Yeah. Well, I am looking forward to it, and hope you guys have a great day tomorrow too, and a great rest of your day. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate everybody tuning in today. See you next time.
Yep. See you, everyone.